When I first saw the concept of great katanas when they were promoting the DLC, I had mixed thoughts about it. I didn't know how slow they were going to be. I didn't know how it would mix with a katana, but it turns out they are very good. A couple of them that I use is the Dragon Hunter, but this one in particular is Rakshas's great katana. It has bleed buildup baked into it, so anything with bleed, you're gonna want. I don't know how many times they nerfed this status effect. It always seems like it's broken, and I think that's simply because of the blood loss buildup. But with that, paired with this skill, this is insane. Great katanas are already stagger gods with its basic attack, especially if you two-hand them. The range is insane. When I'm playing PvP against players who have great katanas, I think that I'm dodging when I'm not because the range is so great. But the skill that's utilized is perfect for this playstyle. A ranged one, I mean. Not so good against bosses who don't get staggered like dancing lions or anybody who you have to actually dodge or block. This is great for lesser bosses or enemies that do get staggered. It's pretty much an AoE attack, and you could stun lock enemies into this chain of unlimited attacks until they just get deleted. Case in point, I fought the entire Shadowborn in that mission where you fight Needle Knight, Dryleaf Dane, you know that boss fight where they just keep coming one after another, and if you don't kill them fast enough, you're going to get double or triple teamed. Well, that's not the case here, because as soon as she spawned, and I was using other builds, okay, I was using other weapons like the martial arts, I was using mage builds, I was using archer builds, I was trying everything I could, but nothing seemed to work because every time it would take me a while to take out one before the other one spawned. But I did not have the problem with this great katana. I annihilated all of them one by one, and every time I killed someone, it was before the other one spawned. So it doesn't matter if you get hit once or twice. If you continue this cycle, then you will destroy everyone. So far, I think it's my favorite great katana. I know that you can get regular great katanas and then put bleed on them or poison. You can put the overhead stance on them. You can do a lot with these things, so it's your preference as to how you want to scale this weapon. And plus, the Dragon Hunter is great too. I made a build with that. It was one of the first weapons that I got in DLC. It's very easy to get early on from the Dragon Man, and it literally deals extra damage to dragons, and it has a really good skill. And that skill is for its purpose. These great katanas are completely different from one another, so you have to use them for the specific playstyle you need. Like I said, Rakshas's great katana is not really good for fighting bosses like Dancing Lion or Radahn or anybody, but you can use the Dragon Hunter to zone enemies and jump in the air and launch this projectile attack that deals insane damage to them. So it depends on which enemies you're fighting, and it turns out this boss fight or this boss encounter with all these Shadowborn, Rakshas's great katana is the perfect one to use. Now, the way that you get this, it might be familiar to you. You have to head over to where you go to the Darklight Catacombs and how you ignite that fire golem to access the area in order to get the sword of light and the sword of darkness. You just continue that path and jump the cliffs, but instead of going to the right, the Darklight Catacombs, you go towards the left down this little area here. Then you travel next to the waterfall around the corner and you'll see this mausoleum. Once you get here, then you'll have to fight the spirit of Rakshasa, and not only will you get the great katana, but you'll also get the armor, the full set, which is really nice. It's a fan favorite actually. I see a lot of people using this, including me, because what it does is that for each piece that you have on, it increases your damage by 2%, but it also increases the damage that you take by 2%. So it's a double-edged sword. You choose if you want to use it or not. Usually what I do with this is I mix and match. I have a couple pieces of Rakshas's armor on and a couple pieces of armor that I prefer. But I highly suggest that you get this great katana. And before, I wasn't really understanding as much of how the combat works in terms of two-handing weapons. I would normally use a shield in my left hand and the great katana, or a regular weapon in my right hand. But it's more beneficial in most cases if you have exceptional dodge ability or decent dodge ability to two-hand this weapon and deal way more damage. I just love the different playstyles that you can mix and match, and with all the weapons in this game, it seems as though the replayability, especially with PvP involved, is almost endless. I can't wait to dive deep into all the builds that I'm thinking about, but for this one, that's pretty much it, man. And speaking of weapons, there are some that are pretty rare in this game, and I actually made a video where I talk about the 5 rarest weapons to find in the Elden Ring DLC, and Rakshas's greatsword is one of the 5. If you want to see the other 4, then just click this video right here and it'll take you straight to it. So like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you're new here. I'll see you over there, fam. Be right out.